Joining us now, Howie Kurtz, host of Media Buzz on Fox News. Mo Alithi, the founding executive director of Georgetown University's Institute of Politics and Public Service. He served as traveling press secretary on Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign. And Guy Benson, townhall.com political editor and a Fox News contributor. Welcome, all of you.
Hi, Shannon.
All right, Mo,
Hello.
I'll start with you because you saw we just had General Flynn on talking about this commander-in-chief thing that's coming up. And he says he thinks, in his opinion, it's a bigger risk for Hillary Clinton because she's been part of this administration, which is leaving behind a lot of foreign policy stuff to deal with. Your take?
You know, it's interesting. We're talking about veterans and the military. And historically, if you look in politics, Republicans tend to do very well with that vote, with the military vote, with the veteran vote. There seems to be something baked into people's psyche, into voters' psyche, that if you have an R next to your name, you might be better on defense or veterans issues. And if you have a D next to your name, maybe on some other issues. I think that calculus is scrambling a little bit in this election cycle, in part because of some of the things that Donald Trump has said and done. I think the fact that he went to war, rhetorical war, with the Gold Star family, and said that he gets his military advice from the shows, has really kind of put him in a more tenuous position with a lot of the voters who are concerned about national security and veterans issues, much more so than any Republican nominee in recent history.
Yeah, and today, Guy, she picked up 2 four-star generals' endorsements. That is something we've seen, although Lieutenant General Michael Flynn said here that he's seen Mr. Trump evolve and get up to speed on these issues. He is convinced he's ready to be commander-in-chief, but some of those generals out there aren't, Guy.
Yeah, and so each person is going to come out and give their various endorsements, and I think General Flynn made the case for Donald Trump, and I don't necessarily agree that this is a bigger risk or gamble for either of them. I think if you want to be president, if you want to be commander-in-chief, you need to be able to go through the gauntlet and answer these types of questions. Which brings me to the moderator of this and sort of the controversy over Matt Lauer. It actually doesn't really bother me that much, because I think that at the end of the day, each journalist should be judged on his or her merits and their performance. So whereas George Stephanopoulos, I think, is problematic on a few levels, Matt Lauer has the opportunity to show up and do a good job. The key is transparency and disclosure. If there's been any connection whatsoever with the Clinton Foundation or Clinton Global Initiative, that should be out in the open for viewers to know ahead of time. That is crucial.
All right, Howie, you are watching this all. You know the players involved. You know Matt Lauer, and we've seen him interview Mr. Trump before, certainly, you know, Hillary Clinton, and interest with the Clinton Foundation now being questioned about his past. Enlighten us a little bit on that.
First of all, I think Matt Lauer has a pretty good track record of being tough on all political guests. Donald Trump, who's complained to me about his past conflicts with CNN, MSNBC, Fox, New York Times, Politico, Washington Post, etc., has never said a word about being unhappy with any of Lauer's interviews. And I think the whole Clinton Foundation thing is a non-controversy, never gave a dime. And the foundation tended to list as notable members any journalist who was in the audience or went on a panel or something like that. As far as the risk involved, the playing field and the subject might seem to favor a former Secretary of State, except for this. Donald Trump's done about 5,000 interviews this year. He's pretty well honed his skills at dealing with and deflecting these kinds of questions. If anything, Hillary Clinton, who hasn't held a news conference all year and has given far fewer interviews, might be a little rusty.
Yeah, about that, Mo, this is sort of a pre-debate debate. It's not sanctioned. We don't know exactly how they're going to handle it. It's not going to be handled the same way as the official presidential debates. Is it a bit of a warm-up for Mrs. Clinton, who it's been 271 days? The last time that she held a press conference was before even a single primary vote had been cast. That's a long time.
Yeah, but this isn't a press conference, right? This is more. You're right. We don't know what the structure is going to be. She has done. She's done other one-on-one interviews, both at the national level and the local level. But having said that, look, you know, I think Howie's right that Donald Trump has a lot of experience. He does, you know, he'll talk to anyone that'll talk to him. Sometimes it feels like, but at the same time, you know, these are complex issues, and I think back to what General Flynn said a few minutes ago, that Donald Trump has the ability to simplify complex issues. Some issues aren't simple. Some of these complex international global issues that the commander-in-chief has to deal with aren't simple, and Hillary Clinton is very well versed in these. So I think the subject matter is going to provide a pretty stark contrast for voters to be able to choose between.
All right, Guy, quick final word to you.
I think there's an expectations game at play here that's very important, and it goes back to what we saw with the Mexico trip. Expectations for Trump are so low. When he exceeds them, he benefits. Because of Hillary Clinton's pedigree and resume, her expectations, particularly on these issues, will be sky high.
Well, people were worried about that Mexico trip for him yesterday. Pretty strong praise across the board, at least on the first half of the day. That trip to Mexico. We'll see how the Commander-in-Chief Forum plays out. Gentlemen, thank you very much.